The
one.
passer is always the most dangerous one.
There was nobody even near him. There was nobody even guarding the
I
pass.
can't believe it.
Yeah, we can't believe it either, Jim Barnett. We can't believe it either. Warriors 2-6 in their last 8. They get blown out by the T-Wolves last night, 129 and 114. And oh, baby, things are not looking so bright for the Golden State Warriors as they're battling injuries, battling some funks from Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole. And they're in the midst of a gauntlet here where they got the Mavericks coming up, Lakers, Nuggets, Clippers, Nuggets, Bucks. When is the bleeding going to stop? We're going to talk to our 95.7 The Game Warriors insider Darrell Wright, also co-host on Warriors pre and post game. Actually, hit the intro, man. Let's get. I need some Easy E in my life.
He runs South Beach.
Go holler at my boy Miles at Prime 112, the owner. Definitely drop my name. I'm always good in the MIA.
He has his own commercials.
Thought I'd spice things up.
He's now taking over the dial as our 95.7 The Game Warriors insider.
Hey, Bonta, I don't play basketball no more. I'm a full-time golfer.
Hey.
Okay?
Here's Darrell Wright.
The man, the myth, the legend. It's the one and only Darrell Wright. D-Wright one. Hometown favorites. Shout out to Hometown Favorites, his AAU team, doing big time damage there. Son Dev just turned 14, and he's looking like a great shooter. D Wright, good morning, man. I'm trying to sleep off last night, man. That was atrocious last night. Defensively, man, guys not staying in front. Coach D Wright would have broke a clipboard last night seeing what happened at the Target Center yesterday.
Man, it's just been a tough stretch for the Warriors right now, man. And the biggest thing is on defense. And yeah, just the attention to detail, getting in the stand, staying in front of your man. They just got to get back to what they were doing in the first half of the season, man. That allowed them to be so successful, allowed them to be a top 5 defense early on. So I'm just looking forward for them to get back to it. I know Draymond Green is a big part of that. But, other guys have to step up and get back to those old ways.
How do they get Andrew Wiggins going here? Because he had some great synergy. I feel like the team had great chemistry early on. They were united, and they've been very disjointed since. And I think it's easy to blame the Dre injury and the Klay Thompson returning, and those are explanations. But, it's not just the team unity and chemistry. Specifically, Andrew Wiggins just isn't playing good basketball. How do they get him going?
Man, I think the biggest thing is just probably trying to get him some easy shots. I think the biggest thing with Andrew Wiggins is the things he was doing on the defensive end, creating his offense off of defense from getting deflections and steals and defensive rebounding. That's a rhythm as well. Most people think rebounding isn't a rhythm. That's rhythm. Going and chasing rebounds, rebounding outside your position, that helps on the other end as well. So I think they got away from a lot of his post-ups, a lot of him playing in that high pick and roll, just to get him back feeling comfortable. Sometimes you just got to over-exaggerate certain things just to get guys feeling good. But Andrew Wiggins has to know he's an all-star now, so he has to, bring more and contribute a little bit more than he's been doing in the last few weeks.
Yeah, 5 of 13 yesterday. Started off 3 for 3, went 2 of 10 the rest of the way. Didn't get to the free throw line and free throw shooting. I mean, it feels like it's so simple, D, right? How do you break out of a funk of being a bad free throw shooter? Is it technique? Is it mechanics? Shot 41% from the free throw line in the month of February. I still can't believe that. I couldn't believe those numbers were true. What is it to fixing your free throw shooting? Because you're a pretty damn good free throw shooter in your own right.
Yeah. I think anything, fellas, is repetition. You got to get in that gym. You got to go in there and rep it out. You got to go in there and shoot shots like it's the game. You just can't go in there and shoot 10 or 20 and think it's over. When I was a great free throw shooter, my best year, I was shooting 100 a day. Wow. Before I left the gym, I was shooting 100. And, that repetition is come muscle memory. So once you get up to that free throw line, it's just second nature. You know it's going to go in. You're not worried. And then when you're attacking the basket, you're not worried about getting fouled because you want them to foul you because once you step up to that line, that's 2 free throws that you're going to make. So I think the biggest thing is repetition. And I know a lot of these guys don't practice the same like back in the day, but sometimes you got to get there early, whether that's a walkthrough, shoot around, whatever, or get there early, leave late, just to get a few extra reps in.
How do they solve their defensive issues that are going on right now? It seems individually they can't stay in front of anyone. And then collectively, the rotation, help defense, communication, understanding the tendencies of the opponent, like it's all off right now. Just simple things. They don't even guard the inbounder yesterday. Malik Beasley walks into just a simple, you run this play, throw it inbound, and then I come back in as the inbounder and they throw it right back to me. Boom, walks into a three. Like, it's just basic stuff. How do they solve those issues on defense?
Well, one thing I could say about the Warriors is they don't have individual lockdown players that's just slowing guys down other than like a GP2. Andrew Wiggins is capable. I feel like they're really, really good in a team defense and being in the right spots and things of that nature. But when you are a team defense, the communication's got to be there. And if you're not communicating, if you're not talking to guys, the back line is not telling you what's getting ready to happen, calling out screens and things like that, it's going to be hard for you to guard anybody. So I think they need to get back to that. Obviously Draymond Green is a big part of that communication and just being an anchor of the defense, seeing everything on the back line. They have to over-communicate. Guys got to talk. Guys got to, help each other out there so they can get stops. But it's also pride and energy. Like, you got to have some pride in your defense. You also got to bring energy and effort. And I think they got to get back to that. Early in the season, they were flying around, making guys put the ball on the floor that's not playmakers and making them make certain decisions. So they just got to get back to flying around, communicating, and just being in the right spots.
Darrell Wright here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. D. Wright, how do we get Jordan Poole to spice things up offensively and defensively, man? He's been in the funk, shooting 26% from the three-point line in the month of February. Started off, I think, 1 for 7 yesterday. How do we get him rolling? Because, look, a lot of people think that it's all revolving around Steph, Clay, and Dre, and I get that. The Warriors will go as they go, but to win a championship, they need those ancillary pieces in Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins. So how does Steve Kerr try to rectify the situation with Jordan Poole, who's fallen into a funk off the bench?
Yeah, I think with Jordan Poole is him. He got to understand, like, let me let the game come to me. Sometimes he just looks like he's pressing. And he wants it bad, and he plays hard. From what I hear, he's a workaholic. Like, he stays in the gym. You just gotta let the game come to him. I think sometimes he just presses and takes tough shots, whether that's a contested three or dribbling and making moves, different counter moves. He's good when he's catching and shooting off down screens like Steph, or when he's straight line driving to the basket. And then once he has that going and getting to the free throw line, he can get in his bag and he makes tough shots. So I think if he could just let the game come to him a little bit more, continue to be that playmaker. He's a very, very underrated playmaker. So I think he just got to let the game come to him a little bit more and not press and head hunt shots. Just let the game come to you and try to get easy ones before you get in your bag.
D, we had Bob Myers on yesterday, and I asked him, like, what's the biggest thing that we're missing from Draymond Green? And he immediately said leadership. And I'm thinking to myself, man, it's so hard to lead when you're hurt, because you're not on the court the entire time. How do they generate some leadership? We know that Curry leads by example, but he's not a vocal guy who's going to call people out. Does he have to? Or does someone else need to step up vocally and be that leader? How do they fill that void?
I think it's total team effort, to be honest with you, holding each other accountable. That's the winning team. The championship teams have multiple guys that's going to hold you accountable. Not only the coach, because at one point of the season or at some point of the season, the coach voice gets watered down because he's the one that has to keep saying it. Some coaches love where their players can be an extension of them. So it's got to be somebody else as well as Steve Kerr and his coaching staff to hold those guys accountable.
Who's got the clout, D? Like, Who's got the clout right now on the team? Like, with Iggy not playing, and can you do it when you're hurt? I don't know. I'm asking. You played.
Yeah, you can definitely do it when you're hurt, and then other guys gotta rub off on him.
Yeah.
Like, he's right. We got to go out there and get stops. Let's challenge ourselves. Let's go out here and get 5 stops in a row. That's how it starts. When you communicate, it's easy. Hey, let's get 5 stops in a row. Let's start this half off right. Let's start this quarter off right, and let's go on a run. So just little things like that to rally your guys up. You got to do. And I found myself doing that a lot. Like, man, let's challenge ourselves. A game within the game, and anybody can do that. You just got to speak up and let guys know this is what we got to do to win games.
So when you think about Draymond Green traveling with the team to Dallas, and now you're playing the Dallas Mavericks team that just rallied in the fourth quarter the other night, and they got guys who will blow by you all night, Spencer Dinwiddie, Luka Doncic. They got three-point shooters here. This gauntlet just feels tougher. How do they, with Clay back, what is Clay going to do to help this team? Obviously the shooting, but maybe the leadership, the IQ. It feels like him coming back in that Dallas game will be a big boost for this roster, but I don't know, D, right? I got a bad feeling about this team right now. Just right now. I'm not panicking, but the vibe just doesn't seem to be there.
No, I hear you, and there's 20 games left. It's 20 games left, so you want to be trending the opposite way right now, especially having a great season so far. You want to be, hitting that rhythm, so when you get to the playoffs, it's, second nature. So I definitely understand where you're coming from, Vontae.
Right.
But Klay Thompson's going to be that guy that's going to be able to stretch the floor.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay attention to him. So getting those easy baskets like we've seen him doing, that's what Klay Thompson, his presence brings. So he's definitely going to help stretch that floor. He's another guy that's a good defender, defender as well, who's going to have something to say if guys aren't, in the right spot. So I think Klay brings, obviously 20 points. He can go off for 30, more spacing, easy baskets, and another communicator on the defensive end.
How dangerous is Dallas in the Western Conference playoffs after they made this trade for Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans?
Come on, man. Dinwiddie is a big-time player. That year in Brooklyn, I forget what he led, maybe like ISO points or fourth quarter points.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can see the respect that Luka Doncic has for him. So he's a big-time player, big-time ISO guy. He can get by his man. He can create space to pull up over you. So this is a great trade. The big fella being able to stretch the floor and be a knockdown shooter. I know he missed some easy ones and let the Warriors off the hook a few times, but this is a great trade for the Dallas Mavericks because it gets Luka Doncic off the ball a little bit more and another guy that can create his own offense and be a playmaker for his teammates.
Darrell, I live by the credo ABC. Always be contenting at all times. And so my producer brain over here is just wrapping its head around a gimmick I think you guys can use the next time the Warriors lose a game. I think you guys should put a table out and have Bonte flip the spread. Let's do it. I want to see him flip the spread in postgame because people think he's not critical enough, and I want to see him show some leadership.
There's just one person who thinks we're not critical enough. D right, we break it down, man. We're fair. We're fair across the board.
I'm just saying, wouldn't it be great to see Bonte flip the spread?
Well, we had Muller last year break clipboards.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, he broke like three clipboards.
When, Kerr karate chopped his. I remember that. My other favorite gimmick that you guys do, but it's not a gimmick, but my favorite one is when you all put the headset on and D, you put it on like sideways. And it's like I'll hang up and listen, I think is the name of it.
Yeah,
I
hang
love
up
that
and
one.
listen.
But can they get my voice on there? Tell them to call me. Outsource it.
D right, real quick before you start. How much run is Shasta be getting on our show?
Boy,
A block,
popular.
B block, questions in the show. I mean, this guy is basically part of the show now. Enough's enough.
He's getting starter minutes, man. He's 30+ minutes.
Hey, D, you got an agent that can maybe get me in with NBC here? No, I'm just teasing. Hey, here's my big plan though. Now that everything's starting to ease up and the whole state is starting to remove masks and everything, I'm going to put together a 95-7 the game softball tourney, and I want you in. You're going to be on my team. You ready?
Oh yeah, come on, man! You already know I'm bringing at least 3 home runs.
Let's go!
Bat and cleanup, baby. I'm just going to manage the clubhouse, man.
Let's go!
I'm gonna get my Tommy Lasorda / Bruce Bochy on, man.
So should
just
we
rub my gut all day.
I think we should cut this thing in half and go mornings versus afternoons, and they can assemble their.
That's a slaughter.
It would be a slaughter.
That's a slaughter. Yeah, that's.
But D, right, you're in if we do a 95-7 the game softball tourney.
Oh, you already know I'm there.
Let's go.
D,
Let's
right.
go.
The one and only Darrell right here on the Morning Rose, NBA champ, former Warrior. Knows South Beach. He owns South Florida. He owns the West Coast now on Warriors pre- and post-game shows. D. Right, man. I'll see you tomorrow, man. Keep up the great work.
Yes, sir, fellas. Appreciate you guys.
And happy birthday to your son,
yeah,
too,
happy birthday. 14,
Absolutely.
Big Dad, 14 years
he
old,
looks like
man.
he's balling. He's coming for that crown. Look out.
Oh, yeah. He got some work to do, but
now he's wearing all the D. Right shoes, man. He's like a size 13.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
that's the part I can't believe he's all in my stuff now.
Hey, the day I grew bigger than my dad, he fought me, and my mom had to come in and said, no, he got you finally. And he's still fighting me to this day on the golf course. So it's never ending. Even once, you think you lose the crown, you still can fight.
Yes, sir. It's all good, man. I got
love
to pass the crown now.
All right, D. Right, man.
Have
We'll
a
talk
good
to you
one.
tomorrow, man. Have a good
All
one,
right,
brother.
fellas.
All right, D. Right, man. Good dude.